Do you think it is possible to make good Tex-Mex food at home without using one of those pre-made packages of spices that you get at the store?
Hmm, it might be possible, but to be honest, I would rather go back in time and have another delicious meal at Chi-Chi's.
Oh, yes. And have some fried ice cream, but only if it's a special occasion.
That's right. Welcome to Mom's Wooden Spoon.
Get your apron on and your fanny flicker ready as we cook up some nostalgia.
Ooh, yummy.
Okay, Kristen, my taste buds are still tingling from our last episode. I cannot stop thinking about that meal and how it transported me back to Northwest Ohio and my childhood.
It was so good.
It was. But this one, it is not going to be a transport recipe.
No.
It's just some good old 80s microwave fun.
Ooh, yeah. Did our mom love microwaves?
Oh my gosh. I mean, who didn't?
They were all the rage.
Yes, absolutely. Now, we did a microwave recipe in season 1.
We did
It was
indeed.
episode 3.
Yep.
So if you're jonesing for some education
Yeah.
about the microwave recipes of the 80s, that's the place to go.
That's right, because we talked all about it and the history of it and why it really didn't work out well.
Right. And now you just get to hear a struggle with another microwave recipe.
I think it's going to be an epic struggle.
I agree. I have read the recipe. I have shaken my head and thought, could we just not do it on the stovetop?
I know there are so many steps. Pop it in, stir it after 2 minutes, go back, turn it on. Next time, turn it on 70% power.
You know what we need to do?
What?
Oh my gosh. Why didn't I think of this before?
What?
We need to take an 80s recipe for the microwave
Yeah.
and have one of us do the microwave version
Oh my gosh.
and one of us do a stovetop stove version
That's a great idea.
and see which one comes out easier. Because in our minds, the stovetop is going to be so much easier and go faster.
Right.
But maybe when we're doing it, the microwave is done and the stove person is still sauteing beef.
That's right. It might be really fun also to see which one tastes better. Because in my mind, the stovetop and oven one would taste a lot better.
We could do a blind taste test.
Ooh, okay. We have some good ideas for later on in the season, potentially.
We should have thought of this sooner.
I know, right?
Man.
Yeah. So what are we cooking, Carrie?
Well, that's a good idea. So it is a 1982 Mary's Memo recipe.
Yep.
With a very explanatory name of Texas Taco Casserole.
Ooh, fancy.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite part of the whole thing is Mary's disclaimer.
Yes.
Above this recipe.
Mhm.
First, it says this Mexican dish takes only minutes to make in the micro.
Woo, woo.
Yep. But then she goes on to confess that her better half gave it a 3.5 on a scale from 1 to 10.
Ooh. He really did not care for this.
He did not, and Mary blames it on the fact that it's on the spicy side.
Spicy.
Ooh la
so
la.
let's see. What do we have? Black pepper.
Ooh, too spicy for me.
A dash of Tabasco.
Oh, not even that. It's just chili powder, Carrie.
Oh. Spicy.
Oh, yeah. So shall we get started?
I think we shall.
All right. So we've got a pound of ground chuck, some onion, and then we make this kind of liquidy mixture where you mix together milk, eggs, and tomato sauce, and then the spices.
Perfect.
Yep. And then I think we kind of layer, let's see, the ground beef with this eggy, liquidy mixture, and then Fritos corn chips.
It kind of feels like a Bisquick impossible pie without the Bisquick.
That's right.
Yeah.
Have you ever had walking tacos before?
I have never heard of walking tacos.
Oh, I wonder if this is like a small town or a Ohio type of thing. Walking tacos are where you get the individual bags of Fritos corn chips, and then you put the meat and sour cream and whatever else you want in the bag, and then you kind of eat it with fork as you're walking.
I see. I knew about making like a Frito pie in a bag.
Yeah.
But I did not know that it was called a walking.
No, and this is going to be interesting because there is a lot of liquid that gets poured over these corn chips.
The whole thing is going to be interesting. So let's go.
Okay, let's go.
All right. So the first thing we're going to do is ground beef in a jar.
Well, ground beef in a,
We're not going to do ground beef in a jar. Okay. the heck? You could have ground beef in a Frito bag or yum yum, walk down with your ball jar full of ground beef.
What you eating? Just some ground beef.
But it's spicy.
Oh, good grief.
Okay.
We are actually going to put it in a 3-quart round casserole dish.
All right, but here's the weird part.
Yeah.
So the recipe tells you to put it in a micro-safe colander.
Yes.
Then you put the colander in your quart round dish.
Yeah.
And then you cook it in the microwave. And first you have to crumble the beef because, you know,
Right.
as we all know, if you took a lump of ground beef, put it in the microwave, you're going to have a hard as a rock lump of
Like
ground beef.
one big hamburger
Yeah.
in the bottom of it. Right. But I couldn't find a colander that was microwave safe.
Right.
I didn't want to have melted plastic. It's okay. I'm perfectly capable of draining the beef fat.
But it's odd that that was how this recipe was easy, is by putting it in the colander.
Now, so what we're going to do is we're going to crumble up that ground beef, and then we are going to sprinkle it with 1 cup of diced onions. So I'm dicing the onion right now. And
Okay.
as we know, it's my job because I am a quickie dicer.
Yes. And I am putting beef in a jar. Okay, so this is a classic Tex-Mex recipe.
Yeah.
And so, Kristen, what exactly to you constitutes a Tex-Mex? Obviously, Texas Mexican; those are the two combo words.
Right.
But what constitutes Tex-Mex to you? Let's see if you can provide me the same as Google.
Right. Well, I have to admit, Carrie, I looked it up.
Shut your face.
I did, because I was interested in what is Tex-Mex as opposed to what's true Mexican food.
Or
right?
Texas.
Yeah. Or just plain Texas food. I assume Texas is a lot of like smoked meats and
Beans on the open fire.
beans on the open
Beans.
fire.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yum.
Okay, so from what I read,
Yeah.
Tex-Mex contains beef rather than pork, actually, because pork tended to be the meat that they'd use more often in Mexico.
Interesting.
And beef is very much used in Texas, as we just said. We got your smoked beef, you got your
Right.
beef beside your beans that are cooked on the fire.
Uh-huh.
I also think that Tex-Mex has a lot of yellow cheeses in it. And most importantly, 2 ingredients that we're going to have in this recipe are specifically Tex-Mex, and that is cumin and chili powder.
Huh.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was quite the Google definition that you used there.
It was. Did I tell you everything you wanted to know? Did I do good?
My explanation that I found on the
okay.
Googles had a few more things.
Oh, tell me.
It had the cheese, the beef,
Okay.
wheat flour.
Oh, yes, like flour tortillas.
Yes.
Right.
Being common versus the corn.
Yep.
Black beans.
I had read that as well. That kind of surprises me. But again, let's have some black beans cooking over the open fire with a side of beef.
I did say beans over the open fire.
You did.
It's
You
like
did.
I knew I was going to say
Oh my
black beans.
gosh.
Okay, chili powder you already got.
Yeah.
And then this is kind of the saddest one. Canned vegetables.
What?
Like canned tomatoes, canned tomato sauce. Nobody in an original Mexican dish is going to whip out the can of whatever.
When you said canned vegetables, all I could think of was that can of veg-all. You know what I'm talking about?
do.
Peas and carrots and little potatoes.
Yes. They still sell that?
They do. They do.
Oh, do people eat it?
Probably.
Well, I guess if they sell it.
You know, Mom used to make this recipe in the 70s. It was super cheap to make and super not flavorful and delicious. And she would call it mince. And it was basically plain old ground beef chopped up like we're making now.
Yep.
With a can of veg-all in it. I don't remember a sauce. I don't remember any spices, maybe other than salt and pepper. And that was dinner.
Yeah. Yum.
Oh boy.
Yeah. And then I learned about that they make mincemeat pies.
Yes.
And I was like, well, they clearly are going to be disgusting.
Right.
Because I've had, quote, mince. And then I had a mincemeat pie. And surprise, surprise, it was not disgusting.
They're pretty good. Yes. Mincemeat pies actually have, well, nowadays they just have chopped up fruits and nuts.
And they do not have a can of veg-all.
Oh, thank goodness. So here's what I thought was so cool.
I think this is the slowest onion cutting I've ever seen in my life.
You know what? Like you said on our last episode, Carrie, I'm talking. So leave me alone. Okay, so I think I have the onion ready, but I found this really interesting
Okay.
that, we said that chili powder was specific to Tex-Mex cooking because in Mexico they don't use chili powder, which is actually a combination of not only ground dried chilies, but it also has onion powder and garlic powder and all kinds of other ingredients in it.
Yeah.
And so the cool thing is, in the early 1890s, chili powder was created by a German immigrant who lived in New Braunfels, Texas, which is where our stepdad's from.
Yes, a German immigrant.
Exactly.
How interesting.
Yep. And so his mixture of chilies, cumin, oregano, and black pepper was a huge hit in San Antonio.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's really interesting.
So cool. So thank you to this German immigrant in New Braunfels for delicious chili powder, because it is really, really easy to just grab.
Oh, so easy.
Yep.
So we only need a cup. So before you
I think this is probably a cup, but you know what? We don't want to do anything that's too much like we did last time with too many saltine crackers in the chicken.
Yeah, but it was pretty good.
That was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I'm getting the onion in here.
Okay. So, speaking of Texas,
yes,
since this recipe happened in the 80s, I was
Yes.
trying to think of things that happened in the 80s
Oh, yeah.
and Texas. And the 80s in Texas was famous for a Don't Litter campaign.
Well,
They had signs up on the side of the road.
give a hoot, don't pollute.
No, this was Texas.
So it was save a steer, drink a beer.
No. It was Don't Mess with Texas. Yes, they had signs on it.
That makes sense.
Very familiar with the Don't Mess with Texas slogan.
Oh,
I had no idea it was litter related.
Well, me
I
either.
just thought it was we're Texan, back off.
Right. I would have way preferred save a steer, drink a beer.
What does that have to do with litter?
Nothing, but it's fun. It's a fun statement. Okay, so now let me get this in the micro. We have to cook this on high for 5 to 6 minutes, but you have to stir midway. So I'm going to pop this sucker in for 3 minutes and then take my chances draining the grease without the colander being in there.
Oh, it's going to be rough. All right, so when I was looking up Texas in the 80s,
Yes.
I found something else. Now, this is not necessarily nostalgic for me, but I feel like it is nostalgic for the rest of the world.
Oh, what could it be?
It would be Dallas.
Oh,
Who shot
yes.
JR?
Oh, my gosh.
I don't have any idea.
Oh, Carrie, I know who shot JR.
Really?
Kristen.
Shut up.
Yes.
I'll never forget that.
All right, 3 more minutes on this. Actually, I think I'll do 2 because it looks like it's getting cooked really well. It said 5 to 6 minutes.
We don't want to make it crunchy.
Oh, good Lord, that would be terrible.
Okay, so in addition to Dallas, then apparently there was a spinoff of Dallas. I didn't know that this was a spinoff.
Okay.
Knots Landing.
I didn't know that was a spinoff.
A Dallas spinoff.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. And then on different channels, of course, to compete with the powerhouse that was Dallas and Knots Landing, you had Dynasty.
Oh, yeah.
And Falcon Crest.
Oh, I never watched any of those. I think I was too young to be allowed to watch those.
Yeah, I mean, they were just nighttime soap operas, right?
That's right.
I just remember that the women were epically beautiful.
Oh, they were.
And young.
Oh,
and the men were old.
That's right. And the women had shoulder pads like mountains.
Oh, they did.
They were gigantic. So glorious. And the women fought like cats and dogs.
Yes, there was a lot of face slapping.
Oh, yeah.
With beautiful red manicured nails.
Oh, gorgeous.
And I had no idea real people got nail manicures.
Oh, no.
No, that was exotic.
That was very exotic.
And they had big, huge, beautiful hair.
Oh, they did. They lived in these fancy houses.
Yes.
Yeah, but I didn't watch that. You know, the biggest thrill for me was when Mom and Dad would have friends over. And they would set up a teeny tiny little black and white television in their bedroom on a stool.
Oh my gosh, I remember that.
And we were allowed to sit in their bedroom and watch The Love Boat.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh, we didn't get to watch The Love Boat any other time.
No, because it was dirty, dirty, dirty.
Naughty pants.
People would walk into their suite and close the door and put the do not disturb sign on it.
Oh my goodness. And you know what always struck me as weird? How that doctor got all the ladies.
He was not attractive.
He was not a hottie.
Gopher was way cuter
I
than
think
the
so
doctor.
too, but so that always shocked me. All right, so we have our beautifully gray ground beef. All righty, so
All
what's
right.
our next step? Oh, we have to
I need
make up the
to-
mixture. You need
Yeah.
eggs and milk and spices.
Yes, chili powder and cumin.
All right. Shall I crack some eggs?
Sure.
Here we go.
I, in the 80s, Kristen, had a chance to go and spend, I don't know if it was a week or two in Texas.
That's
it
exciting.
was all by myself. My aunt and uncle lived in Texas. And we did all kinds of fun things. I got to go to my very first rodeo.
Oh,
Yes. I got to meet a guy named Jim Bob, which could not be more Texas if
Love
you
it.
wanted it to.
Love it.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And then we went to this adorable Victorian tea house.
Oh.
And got tea. And I bought this little purple atomizer that I thought was the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen. I still have it to this very day.
An atomizer for perfume?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
I thought it was gorgeous. But, so I'm just saying I hit up all the normal Texas things. Victorian tea house.
Oh, so Texas.
Right.
So, Carrie.
Yes.
Speaking of atomizers, do you know what the most popular scent for men was in 1982?
I'm going to go with like CK.
Oh, good guess. No.
Yeah.
Carnival.
How 80s girl am I that I still flip and love that smell?
It's so hilarious.
Oh,
My
I
husband
love it.
just had some as of last year, right?
Yes.
But let's talk about the girls' perfumes that were very popular in 1982.
Okay.
Love's Baby Soft.
Oh.
I had a friend named Jill,
Uh-huh.
and she was moving out of town. It was very sad.
Yes.
Round about 1982, and her sister, who was older, was getting rid of a whole bunch of stuff, and she gave me Love's Baby Soft Lemon.
I remember it. It was very lemony.
Very, very lemony.
Very lemony.
I walked around smelling like Pledge.
Yes. Yes.
And I loved it because an older girl gave it to me and it made me feel very cool.
Well, if she liked it, it was the height of everything amazing.
I never had the real powdery Love's Baby Soft because I was never smart enough to ask for it.
Well, yeah, but you were also queen of the allergies.
That's true.
So
so I didn't have any really cool perfumes, but you did in 1982. Do you remember that you had exclamation?
I do. And it was in this white. The bottle looked like an exclamation mark.
It did.
And at the top of it was black that looked like the top of the exclamation point, and the bottom of the bottle was like the dot.
Yes.
And it was what I totally remember that.
That was super popular in 82.
Because I was all things cool. Obviously. That is so not true.
Cool. Here are the yucky perfumes that I had. Because basically I got mom's handoffs.
Jeannette.
That's the one I was going to say. It stunk. I didn't like it. It was like a body splash. And so you always poured too much and it flowed all over the place. And then you're like, oh, heck, I'll just splash it all over my body. And then you would go to somebody's house and they go, oh, what's that smell? And it was you. It was Jeannette. You bathed in a gallon of Jeannette.
Oh, my gosh, Jeannette.
Now, we did not have this next one.
Okay.
But I think you will remember it.
Okay.
Angelique, I can take on the bacon. Angelique, right up in a pan. Angelique, and never let you forget you're a man.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
You do not remember that ad for Angelique perfume?
Not a thing.
Oh, man.
But the dance was really cute.
I was doing a little bump and grind. It was
I thought it was a little hippie back and forth, but sure.
Okay, moving on. You're rude. Hey, dang, this is confusing. So I have put, the corn chips are in the bottom, and then half the meat mixture, and then I'm reading this. Listen to what it says about the cheese. Okay, I feel like I'm a relatively intelligent person, but I'm struggling with this. Okay, so it says reserve half a cup of cheese for topping.
Yeah.
Then add half the remaining cheese.
Yeah.
And half the tomato mixture.
Yes.
And then repeat the layers. So
yes.
I'm going to take what's left of this 8-ounce bag, half of it, and pop it over. Okay?
Yep, put it in there. So when I was buying the cheese is supposed to be Monterey Jack with jalapenos.
Yeah.
Shredded. So I went to the shredded cheese aisle. You cannot find just plain Monterey Jack at all. And you cannot find Monterey Jack with jalapenos in it, shredded.
Right.
Purchase just Colby Jack cheese. It's all good.
I think it'll taste good.
I think that'll be fine. But then it dawned on me, we're talking 80s. I don't think bagged shredded cheese was a thing.
I don't think it was. But in our 2023 mind, when it says on the recipe, 8-ounce package Monterey Jack cheese with jalapenos shredded.
Yeah.
We thought that meant we needed to find it already shredded,
Yes.
but I think that what it meant
I
is
think I needed a block, and then we needed to shred it. Yes. Which I just recently was having a conversation with a friend of ours. He's 25 years old, and was telling him that I lived through the advent of shredded cheese becoming available.
Oh my
That
gosh.
he was mind blown.
All right, so now we have the corn chips, the beef, the cheese, and I put half of that tomato milk egg mixture with the spices, and then I'm going to go back in with another, I believe, cup and a half of the Fritos.
Yep. She's really struggling through this one, y'all.
You guys, A, it's really tiny writing, and I'm blind as a bat, and B,
I'm really curious to see what she's going to do now, because the cheese is in the half a cup measuring cup, and she's standing there, mouth agape, kind of eyes big, looking back and forth, like she's in quite the pickle.
All I have on the counter is a 1 cup measuring cup and a half cup measuring cup. I have to put in a cup and a half of Fritos, but the half cup is filled with cheese. Again, I'm not a stupid woman, but I'm struggling today, man. I'm filling half of this 1 cup up with
It's
Fritos.
the mouth agape and the wild eyes going back and
The
forth.
wild eyes, you're so mean. That is so, but it was true. Oh my goodness. Get your dang hands out of there. I'm going to finish this. You're so mean to me. Oh, wow. This is going to really fill this up to the top.
It is. It looks good. I mean, it'd probably be better if there's some more spices, but
at least salt and pepper. It'll be interesting to see what we think it needs, and maybe it'll be absolutely perfect.
I thought about getting a tomato sauce. You can get tomato sauce with green chilies in it.
Yeah.
I thought about doing that since I didn't get the cheese with the jalapeno in it.
Yeah.
I thought maybe the tomato sauce would be better, but then I don't know. I got nervous changing stuff up. Mary says it. I want to stay true to Mary.
Yeah, we try to stay true to Mary as much as we possibly can, but you know what? All you can do is what you can do.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me put the rest of the cheese, and then I think we do and then I think once it microwaves.
Yeah, so you're going to put the cheese, we're going to put the tomato mixture, then it goes back into the microwave for, quote, the baking.
Yes.
Which is 10 to 12 minutes.
Right, and then at the very end, we're going to add sour cream and the half cup of cheese that I have set aside.
And it goes back into the micro
with
the sour cream on the top.
Which concerns me a bit.
That'll be interesting.
I hope that sauce goes between the nooks and crannies and doesn't overflow this thing.
I'm sure it will.
Okay, so maybe I should get it to go down because it's really very much just laying on the top. Or maybe that's the way it's supposed to be.
I think as it gets hot, it'll float to the bottom better than if it all just immediately went through the nooks and crannies and pooled at the bottom. True. It would be disgusting, I think.
5 minutes, right, since we have to turn it.
And yes, that's right. The instructions say to turn halfway through because, of course, this was in the days before the turntable in microwaves.
Right. And I do not have a turntable on mine.
No, but I'm assuming that they've, technology has come so that it's unnecessary.
We may not have to turn it, but that's okay.
I remember back in the day, you had to turn everything. It didn't matter what it was. You had to go in there and turn it.
That's right. Even those rock hard chicken breasts that Mom would make.
Oh,
yum,
yeah.
Yum.
Yeah. Super yum. Speaking of yummy things.
Yeah.
And returning to my favorite topic of the day.
What is it?
Texas.
Okay.
There is a Pizza Hut in Texas that has kept all of its original decor.
Oh, no, really?
Yeah, I have a picture. I am going to put it online.
So cool.
So that you can see it. Amazing. I mean, y'all, it is like, okay, so let me just paint a picture here for you. All right. It's a Friday night in your hometown. You're going to a high school football game.
Yeah.
If you're in Northwest Ohio, you're going to have one of those hot chicken sandwiches from last episode.
Absolutely.
If you're not, you just wish you could.
Yeah.
You are getting your hair done. You've got your Aquanet hairspray.
Oh, you got your mall bangs.
You are teasing that bad boy up within an inch of its life because the higher, the better.
That's right. You got your slouch socks on and you have pegged the bottom of your jeans.
With your fluorescent green sweatshirt.
Oh, man, are you cool?
I paired mine with black leggings and some leg warmers, but slouch socks with some peg jeans, acid wash.
I was just going to say acid wash.
Yes.
And then I would wear them with my white Keds that when the Keds got dirty, you got white shoe polish.
Yes, you did. And you'd wet the shoe and then shoe polish it. So you're looking good. You spray on your
Ooh,
Bub's
yeah.
baby soft, powder or lemon, depending on your
lemon.
mood.
That's right.
You hop in the car, you pop in your Cyndi Lauper tape.
Oh, yeah.
Girls just want to have fun blaring as you cruise
Nice.
down to meet your friends at the Pizza Hut
Ooh.
for your personal pan pizza in the 800-degree, fresh out of the oven,
Oh, yeah.
metal container
Oh,
it
my
came
gosh.
in. You could burn yourself within an inch of your life, but the 80s were just a time of danger,
It
man.
was. And then you get your gigantic soda in those red cups.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And the red gingham was everywhere.
That's right. The red and white check tablecloths. And then they always had a video game.
The salad bar would be available to you. I just read something yesterday that had nothing to do with this, that up until like 2012, Pizza Hut was the largest purchaser of kale.
Weird.
Because they decorated their salad bar
I
with
remember
it. Do you remember?
that.
You'd have the dishes, and then in between all the dishes
Yes.
would be the kale.
That is funny.
Yeah, because it was before people ate that stuff.
That's right.
Yeah, so anyway, so get the little visions going.
Oh, so fun.
And then you can pop onto our website, momswoodenspoon.com, and check out the picture of this original 80s.
What good memories.
Yes.
Well, 1982, it was a wonderful time for a wonderful TV show.
82.
Yep.
Nah, I can't think of anything.
In 1982, the TV show Fame came out.
OMG, I loved that show.
I loved that show more than life itself.
Who was your favorite?
I think I loved Bruno.
We don't talk about Bruno.
We don't talk about... Ooh, we don't want to get in big trouble for copyright with Disney. So we do talk about Bruno, and he played the piano. He was the pianist. He's like curly black hair, and he played when Irene Cara sang my all-time favorite song, Out Here on My Own.
I know that it is your all-time favorite song because I know every word to that song, and I have never heard it by Irene Cara. I have only heard it by Kristen.
Because I would sing it ad nauseum.
All the time.
Shall I do it now?
No.
Oh, okay. Ooh, perfect timing. Saved by the bell.
Saved by the bell. People, you need to appreciate me. You have no idea. No idea.
Oh, wow.
It's a little bubbly.
Well, the top looks interesting. The sauce on the top is kind of a orangish, pinkish, reddish, and it did not soak down through all the meat, so I guess it'll just be interesting to see what happens. Okay, so now I have to try it again. 5 more minutes at 70% power. Oh, I got it. Okay.
All right.
So while we were talking about Fame and...
my favorite character was Leroy.
Oh, he was such a good dancer.
I thought he was the most amazing dancer the world had ever seen.
He really was. He could jump.
Oh, gosh. Yes.
Yeah.
I had never seen anything like it, and I thought he was just the most amazing.
I wanted to go to that high school more than anything.
Oh, yeah. I wanted to be those kids.
Oh, yeah. Because so cool.
Yeah. And they never had homework. Did you notice that?
I know, right?
And they rarely had class. They had all this free time between classes
to run out into the street and dance.
Yes. And to sit at the piano with your bestie and just sing a little tune.
Yeah. Like Out Here on My Own.
Oh, my gosh. I bet. No.
Oh.
They also are famous for their song Fame, which you should also know.
I do. Okay. But they are also credited for making leg warmers so crazy popular.
Yes, well, because it's a dancer thing. You know what?
What?
I have an idea.
What?
Listeners, if you feel like I have shorted you the opportunity to hear Kristen belt out a beautiful rendition of Out Here on My Own. She's on her own.
Yeah.
Send us an email, and we will be sure to include it at some point in time that I am not involved with the podcast. No, I'm joking. We will have her sing it just for you. We can include it at like the end of the podcast. The very end will be the special treat.
Now, you guys don't even have to email us. It's okay. I know you want to hear it so badly. I'll just tack it on to the very end of this. So listen, stay to the bitter end, and you will get a special, special treat.
I mean, if you want to know what it was like being Carrie as a preteen, this song just play it ad nauseum for an
Yeah.
entire day. Like
Yeah.
every minute that you are home, just repeat
Right.
this and
But-
you'll know what preteen Carrie lived. It sounds good.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, she's good at it. It's like, I've heard it a lot.
Okay, well, this is kind of congealed into a casserole. Look at that.
It looks like it would when you pulled it out of the oven.
It really does. It looks kind of yummy.
It smells pretty good. It smells like a Tex-Mex casserole.
It does. It smells really tasty. You can smell the Fritos. Okay, and thank goodness it's 1 cup of sour cream. So I do not have the conundrum of what to do with the cheese that is sitting there in the half a cup.
Still in the half a cup.
I mean, because what would I do? Because the sour cream goes on first.
I can't imagine.
What would I do with that cheese?
I cannot imagine. The challenges we face as home cooks, y'all.
This is tough. So I think we just spread it all over. Let me see. Spread sour cream over casserole, sprinkle with reserved cheese, and micro at same setting, 2 to 4 minutes or until cheese melts. And then, it gets fancy from here. I have done a little chopping in the background because Mary suggests to garnish it with the so fancy tomato wedges.
I was wondering why we had these ginormous wedges of tomatoes.
Yeah, it does not sound like something we would do today.
No, but it is totally like late 70s decor for sure.
Totally late 70s. And it also calls for fresh parsley. Okay.
I think a half a cup is enough, but
I mean, I would put way more cheese, but there's an entire package of cheese in this, so it should be good. All right. This has filled the entire container up to the brim. All right. So it said 2 to 4 minutes or until cheese melts, and I'll do it on 70.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, Kristen, I have a couple foods I'm going to call out, and I want you to tell me, is it going to be Tex-Mex? Or is it going to be like a Mexican food?
That sounds like fun.
Okay. Nachos.
Okay, so they're corn, so that could be traditional Mexican, but they probably have yellow cheese. So I would say Tex-Mex.
Correct.
Ooh.
How about queso dip?
Oh, now normally when you get the queso dip in a restaurant, it's white cheese.
Yes, that's correct.
So is it traditional Mexican?
Tex-Mex.
Oh,
I think this one's an easy one.
Okay.
But I also do adore the food.
What is it?
Chimichanga.
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm going to assume that is Tex-Mex.
Yes. They're all Tex-Mex. That was my list of Tex-Mex foods.
Do you remember going to Chi-Chi's?
Oh, yes, I do, girlfriend.
And they had, I don't know if it was a chimichanga.
Oh, yeah.
It was a seafood.
It was a seafood chimichanga, and you and Mom used to get it all the time, and Dad and I thought you guys were so nasty.
Oh, it was so good.
Mm-hmm.
But Chi-Chi's doesn't exist anymore.
No. And do you remember getting fried ice cream at Chi-Chi's?
Oh, that was one of the treats. I mean, we didn't get it very often. Oh, really?
It has just honey on it.
No, it's rolled in crunchies.
Yes, and then they put honey on the outside.
Oh, and you hate honey. I forgot. Mm-hmm. That was a typical older sister response to that. You said there's honey on it, and I went, no. So we have just about 1 more minute on the casserole.
We have some gorgeous tomato wedges. Kristen has pulled off some full leaves of parsley. I would have gone for like a whole sprig.
Well, pull off what you think.
Okay.
Gosh.
Oh, in 70s style. Well, I guess early 80s style.
Oh, speaking of 80s, want to feel old?
No.
I don't either, but I'm going to tell you.
I had to take my glasses off to read the Mary's Memo instructions. I already feel old.
No kidding. I had to get my nose like right up on it. Guess who was born? Some celebrities that were born in 1982.
Oh, Zac Efron.
Ooh, good guess. That is a potentially correct answer, but it's not on my list.
Okay.
Let me tell you some of the ones on my list.
Okay.
Kelly Clarkson.
Oh my gosh.
I know, right? Seth Rogen.
What?
Yeah. Yeah. Dwayne Wade from basketball.
I knew that.
Yeah, you're the sporty one. I had to look up who he was. No, I'm kidding. I knew who he was. And then my favorite, Adam Lambert.
Oh.
Yeah, he seems like he's younger than that to me.
He does.
He looks very young. He looks awesome. Have you seen the big thing that's going around on social media where Adam Lambert was on Jimmy Fallon and they do this fun game where you spin a wheel and you have to pick the person you have to sing like, and then you spin a wheel for the song you have to sing. And Adam Lambert spun the wheel and got Cher.
Nice.
Spun it again and got the Muffin Man song.
Okay.
And so this is an earworm. of all earworms. I
Okay.
cannot stop singing it. I'm going to sing it to you now
Oh,
because you
great.
wouldn't let me sing earlier.
Does this surprise me, people?
Our listening audience will be singing this for the next 3 days, and you will be cursing my name.
Oh, great.
Okay, to be ready?
I'm so ready.
Okay, you're going to think Cher is right in the room with you.
I feel like I can see the long hair now as you flip
Yep.
it over your shoulder.
Yep, here we go.
Do you know the Muffin Man? Do you know the Muffin Man? Oh, do you know the Muffin Man? Wow, that was
Yeah,
wow.
it was good, wasn't it?
I mean,
He has to sing that at every one of his concerts because people beg for it now.
oh, that's
And he's like,
hilarious.
seriously, he goes, I have all these great songs. I sing with Queen,
Yeah.
and you all request the Muffin Man at my concerts. All right, we're going to look this cool and get it all decorated up so you guys can see the lovely, lovely picture.
Oh, with the tomato wedge and the large sprig of parsley.
Yep, so we'll see you in a minute.
All right, Kristen. So I think we let it cool down a little bit. Let's be honest. We're ready to go.
We are ready to taste this because it actually looks okay.
We decorated up with our tomato slices and parsley.
So pretty.
I have to say, it is chic.
It is chic. Oh my gosh. Well, let's dig into this and
Okay.
see. Oh, it is very solid. I could,
Okay.
gosh, almost like cut a wedge out of it with like a pie server. Isn't that weird? Okay, but I'm using a big old spoon.
Okay. I'm just standing here silently watching her.
Oh, look at that. Look at the side. It really is a solid casserole. And then I see the grease from the meat.
Well, it's because we didn't have a colander.
That's right. And I kind of got it all over the
All right.
placemat. Okay, there we go. Ooh, look at that pretty bite. Let's put a tomato.
Oh, yeah. Garnish.
All right. And so
And then
sprig.
healthy sprig. Oh, that's so beautiful.
It is gorge. There's so little cheese on the top. It looks like a chef took a sauce in one of those bottles and went zigzag, zigzag all over it.
Ooh, very
Fancy.
chefy.
All right. Shall we give it a taste?
Yes.
Do you want to go first?
Sure. So I think the first thing is to get the parsley and the tomato out the way.
Out the way.
Okay.
All right. So she's getting some of the sour cream and some of the cheese.
I'm trying to cut the cheese apart so as to not
cut the cheese.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, and I want some of what used to be the
Ooh, look at the sauce.
chips.
Yeah.
The chips
chippies.
are mush.
They are. They do not resemble chips at all. There's no crunch.
I'm being greedy with my bite.
Ooh,
so
be careful that you don't scald
huge.
yourself. You know, it looks really good. I'm wondering if there are enough flavors in it to make the ground beef be tasty.
Nope.
No?
The ground beef absolutely needed spiced.
Gotcha. Salt, pepper, maybe even some of the chili powder.
Mhm.
You know, maybe even once you cook the ground beef, you could add a can of green chilies in with the ground beef and the cooked onion. That might add a little flavor.
It
Let me
is
taste.
just a lot of plain ground beef. The
Mhm.
Fritos add a nice little pop of salt and corn. That's nice.
That's
the
yummy.
sour cream and the cheese on the top is good. But the layer of beef is just beef tasting.
You know what you could do? If you wanted to just make this super quick, you could get a package of taco seasoning at the store
Oh, yeah.
and just make the meat as you would taco meat.
Yes.
That would make this whole thing perfect.
Yes, exactly what it needs. I mean, heck, you could use half of the package.
Yes.
It just anything to spice up that meat a little bit.
Really, that's what it needs. And then, I mean, the sour cream, I am shocked. It is delicious on the top.
It would not be good without the sour cream.
No.
No, you need that punch of, it really is tasty. I would not make it in the microwave, although it was not horrible.
No, it wasn't. And once you know the recipe, you have an idea of what you're doing. As you guys know, we do these just as we're reading the recipe. We've never made this before.
Right.
And sometimes, you know, when you're going back and forth, things can get confusing.
Yeah. And maybe even if you just browned the meat on the stove, added the onions, added the spices, and finished it off in the microwave, that'd be lovely in the summer. You don't have to turn the oven on.
That's right. And, you know, in the oven, you'd probably bake it at 350 for at least 20, 30 minutes. And if you cook the ground beef on the stove top, add your taco seasonings, put it all in that casserole dish, microwave it for what, 12 minutes?
Yeah, I think that'd be my takeaway.
Yeah.
Just add some spice to the beef, do it on the stove, layer that sucker up, pop it in the microwave.
Basically, the only trick is you trying to figure out how to set your microwave at 70%.
That's true.
That was the trickiest part
I
of
have
the
a
whole thing.
defrost button. I wonder if that's 70%.
I don't know. Like I said, I had to look it up online to be able to figure it
Wow.
out.
These micros, they're so confusing.
They are. Well, I think that was a really tasty dish.
I think it very much could be
Yeah.
a staple, really. An easy,
Yep.
quick meal, filling for a family.
And totally gluten-free if that's how you roll.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
Yeah, very nice. Well, that is it for this episode. Thank you so much for joining us. Do not forget to check out our blog on our website and be sure to set your alarm for next week's episode. It's going to be released on October 23rd, and it's going to be the first recipe we make in celebration of an obscure holiday.
Ooh.
Do your research to try and figure out which one it is.
Ooh, we will see if you're right. And stay tuned. There's some singing to come.
Run, people, run! Thanks for listening to Mom's Wooden Spoon. If you like what you heard, don't forget to subscribe. If you want a copy of this recipe or to check out our blog, click on the link to our website in the podcast description. If you'd rather, you could get to our website through Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. Pick your poison.
Don't say poison. We're making food.
Okay, Kristen, do you want to do it as a duet?
No, Carrie. The song is called Out Here on My Own. This is my time to shine, baby.
Okay.
Sometimes I wonder where I've been, who I am. Will I fit in? Make believing is hard alone. And now I sang it too low, so I'm going to stop here and cut.